On your left.
On my left. Got it. Don't say it. Don't you say it.
On your left.
Come on!
On your left.
Captain Sam, can you hear me? On your left.
School's in session. I'm Mr. Guzman. Welcome to the classroom. Thor and Loki, Wanda and Vision, Peter Parker and Tony Stark's face. Even if some of these reunions happen in Avengers Doomsday, this movie can hit harder than anyone expected. The Russos, when they made Avengers Infinity War, had a term they called strange alchemy. Strange alchemy was when they had different characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe meet for the first time. For example, when Thor met the Guardians of the Galaxy, the monarchy of Wakanda, hanging out with the Avengers. We will have strange alchemy, I believe, in Avengers Doomsday. However, it's going to be a little bit different. A little bit upgraded, maybe. It's going to be more about reunions. Strange alchemy will be when people reunite for the first time in a long time. So today I'm ranking the top reunions that Avenger Doomsday needs. Some of these are confirmed, some of these are rumors, some of these are just wishes. But here we go. Number 7, the first one is already confirmed by the Avengers Doomsday trailer that was released at CinemaCon this year. And the reunion was showing Captain America Steve Rogers and Thor getting together again. In the trailer, again, I'm reacting to a reaction that I saw from New Rockstars and I saw from Screen Crush. There's a scene where you see Mjolnir, I think it's the one from Love and Thunder, kind of moving around like it's going to go fly to Thor's hand, but it kind of goes past him and it goes to another gentleman. This guy has a beard, he has a little bit longer hair, and he's wearing more layman, plain clothes. And that guy says, "Hey, pal," and it turns out to be Steve Rogers. Oh yeah, reunified. I believe that the reason they do show a different Steve, they show the bearded Steve, not the one that was clean cut wearing the Captain America outfit in an Endgame that picked up Mjolnir. They use this one, so we know it's a little bit different of a Steve. He has his beard. It looks closer to what they say to how he looked in Infinity War. The fact that he can lift Mjolnir shows Thor that it is, in fact, Steve Rogers. Not some kind of shapeshifter, not a Skrull, not Loki. It is actually Steve Rogers, his old pal. This does a couple things, this reunion does. First, it reminds us of the golden age of Avengers, whether you're talking about the comics or the movie. One of my favorite scenes was when Thor and Captain America were battling the first time against the Chitauri in Avengers 1. And there's that part where it looks like Steve Rogers gets blasted in the stomach, but Thor helps him out. And then basically Thor is like, "Hey, you ready for another round?" And Captain America is like, "Why? You getting sleepy?" I was like, that was, I think, when they became really, really good friends. And Thor's like, I don't know about all these other Earthlings, but this guy, Midgard got something going on. And think about Thor, just Thor in general. How many people has Thor lost since he joined the MCU? He lost his dad, lost Loki like 20 times, lost his mom, lost his best friend, and of course, at some point lost Captain America. That was his boy, you know? I mean, these guys helped form the Avengers. They were two of the main people. The big three, if you would. They say these two and Iron Man were the big three. That's why they're the three that went after Thanos in the beginning. That's why when they first met in their strange alchemy in Avengers 1, that it was so impactful because it was the three guys that we most wanted to see. Sorry, Hulk. Sorry, Black Widow. Sorry, Hawkeye. And my main thing with this reunion is Thor doesn't need another new teammate. He needs an old friend. And this is one that we're all hoping to see, I believe, especially after the announcement of Robert Downey Jr. being Victor Von Doom. We're not quite sure right now if he will show his face or not, or if it will be behind his armor like the comic books almost the entire time. But I truly hope that this reunion happens. That Peter Parker, the mentee to Tony Stark, will somehow meet up with Dr. Doom, realize somehow that it is Tony Stark lookalike, maybe a variant, maybe just that's the way that Dr. Doom looks in his universe. We're not sure yet. When Peter Parker actually sees that face, even if it's like a little messed up face, maybe like after the snap in Endgame, that he's going to be like, Tony, what's going on? Hey, Mr. Stark, let's do this. Hey, let's beat up some bad guys. But I think it's just going to be a false reunion. Actually going to be like old Strange Alchemy, meeting for the first time. Because I can see this happening already. I think I said this in my last video. Maybe there's a battle between the two. Spider-Man versus Doom. Maybe Spider-Man at some point gets the upper hand. Maybe he punches him with his full strength in the armor face of Dr. Doom. Maybe it knocks off the mask. And maybe we see Tony Stark's face and Spider-Man's like, hey, Tony? And then Doom says, who's Tony? Battle, battle, battle. That's what I want to see. That reunion of sorts would be very emotional for me. Because imagine seeing Peter Parker, see his mentor, his icon, his friend Tony Stark, but then realize that it's not even Tony. According to the fourth teaser of Avengers Doomsday with Wakanda and the Fantastic Four, that this is going to happen. It looks like this will happen. This is the reunion of Shuri and my favorite antagonist, Namor. It was very uneasy how they started the movie, their relationship. They were basically, Namor was looking for someone to unify with them so they could take out the surface world. Everyone but the Wakandans, if they joined in. They had different philosophies, but they did respect each other. They very much, Namor and Shuri, respected that they were both had the best interest of their people first and foremost, that they understood what it would be like if the outside world came upon their land and messed things up. They were both anti-colonialism and imperialism, and they did find a common ground. Shuri shows some mercy. Namor appreciated that. If you remember, near the end of the movie, when Namorita, Namor's cousin, was asking Namor, hey, how come you let these guys go? You shouldn't have let them get away. No, we could take out Wakanda. We are Talokan. And Namor said something to the effect of, that's why I did it. Because the surface world's going to come for Wakanda at some point. And when there's a big threat like that, who do you think they're going to come for some help? For an alliance. They're going to come to us. And then we're going to be on the same page. And we'll take all those guys out. So they got a little bit of a plan. Now we got a world-ending stakes going on. So it is natural for me that Shuri and Talokan's Namor are going to unify their resources, their people, their technology to help save whatever's happening. Probably an incursion, but they don't know what that is yet.
Incursion?
An incursion occurs when the boundary between two universes erodes, destroying one or both entirely.
This reunion can really determine whether the Earth unifies or falls apart. One that should happen, not confirmed, but I can't see this not happening, is my man, Captain America Sam Wilson, and the Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes. Remember the whole series, Falcon and Winter Soldier, they kind of didn't like each other. Kind of because they both thought Steve was like their best friend. They're a little jealous, you know, because they both, Steve Rogers, everybody wants to be his number one best friend, right? Through the series, Falcon and Winter Soldier, they found a common ground. In the comics, they were both Captain America at some point because they're both good men and both people that Steve Rogers respects and enjoys to be around. And with the movie Thunderbolts, aka New Avengers, and Captain America Brave New World, we did see a little bit of their friendship yet tension, right? Because by Thunderbolts, Captain America Sam Wilson's putting together an Avengers team, and he's suing for the trademark with the Thunderbolts that now call themselves the Avengers, even though Red Guardian had a great idea, you know, just put a Z there, and then it's Avengers with a Z. These two men represent the two groups of Avengers that are trying to go forward in the MCU. I think at some point, maybe they'll merge together, or maybe the Thunderbolts will go back by the Thunderbolts name, and then the Avengers with Captain America, Sam Wilson, will be their own group separately. One that should happen, maybe it's already happening in the first scene, I don't know. But Dr. Doom needs to have a reunion with Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards. You might be saying, they haven't met in the MCU yet. But in Fantastic Four First Steps, there was an empty spot for Latveria. There was a Dr. Doom guy looking at Franklin Richards with Sue Storm was in the other room till she came out. So I think they already met. So if they show us them together in Avengers Doomsday, then this is going to be a reunion for them. Even not for us, for them, they're going to be like, hey, Victor, Reed, hey, you still trying to conquer the world? Yeah, you still think you're smarter than me? Something like that. They're both massive geniuses with massive egos, and I want to see that in the movie. I want to see that they're familiar with each other, even if we're not familiar with them and their dynamic yet. One of the most tragic yet best love stories in Marvel needs a reunion. This might be a pipe dream of mine, but I think this would make sense in the story, and it's something the fans really want. We need to get Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, and Vision together again.
We have said goodbye before, so it stands to reason.
We'll say hello again.
The whole White Vision thing is unresolved, right? I know Vision Quest is coming out soon, but the White Vision, if you know from WandaVision, was basically all the parts of Vision put together again. The vision she created actually gave him all his memory, the rot, if you would, a Theseus thought experiment.
I request elaboration.
Gave him all his thoughts, his memories back, and everything in his original form, but again, it's white now, not purple, reddish, green, and all that. And he flew off, and we haven't seen him since, but I think he's trying to remember and gather more information of who he is. And eventually, he's going to remember Wanda Maximoff was my soulmate, and I gotta find her. Because at the end of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Wanda Maximoff also, Scarlet Witch, she took out all the dark holes in all the universes. Looked like she had her big old mountain tower thing collapse upon her. We didn't know if she's alive or not. Usually in Marvel, if you don't see them gone, then they're usually coming back. Right, Loki?
But what is grief? If not love, persevering.
There was a little red spark at the end when the thing was collapsing on, so I'm thinking she teleported and went somewhere else. In the comics, Wanda did help Doom manipulate reality before. Maybe that's who he's going to use to help make his battle world in this version, the movie version of Secret Wars. It would be natural for Wanda to be there, and if you're showing Wanda, we got to do something with Vision. WandaVision. It was called WandaVision because it's so natural for their names to go together. WandaVision. I can only think of one other possible reunion that would be more emotional than Wanda and Vision getting together.
Tell me what you feel.
I just feel you.
And that leads us to our number one spot. The one that I believe is going to happen. It hasn't been shown in any kind of trailer or teaser. It hasn't really been talked about a lot, but I know these actors are both in the movie, and how can we not have this reunion? Who I'm talking about are the brothers, Thor Odinson and Loki Leviathan.
You know, maybe you're not so bad after all, brother.
Maybe not.
If you're here, I might even give you a hug.
I'm here.
You guys know Thor's my number one character. Loki is my second favorite series after WandaVision on Disney+. These are two of the actors, along with a short list of others, that I think are perfectly cast. I can't imagine another Thor. I can't imagine definitely another Loki. Think about this. Again, we're talking about Thor losing everybody. Thor lost Loki multiple times in the movies, maybe more than that before we saw them in Thor 1. In the comics, he was getting resurrected all the time, even though Thanos didn't like it.
No resurrections this time.
And now Loki is literally holding Yggdrasil, Yggdrasil, the tree with all the multiversal branches and stuff, the green one. He's all holding them together like the end of Loki. He is now the god of stories. He's directly tied to the multiverse. We have to get to Loki somehow, whether it's Doom, whether it's Thor, or somebody. So I know Doom's going to try to find him. It sounds like he's going to try to get all the multiverses smashed together for a battle world. That's what I think is going to happen for Secret Wars, right? I think maybe that's the quest of this movie, is that it's a race between Doom and Thor to get to Loki first. For Doom, if he can control that throne, he can be the god of stories power, and he can control the multiverse. Thor, he's like, Loki's alive? That's my brother, man. Ragnarok, we had a really good time in Ragnarok by the end of it.
Loki, I thought the world of you. I thought we were going to fight side by side forever.
And when Thor gets there and sees Loki for the first time, man, I'm not going to be crying. Y'all going to be crying. Man, that would be the coolest reunion of all of these. That's why it's number one for me. Their relationship has always been at the core of the MCU. They are the emotional anchors. I know we got those anchor beings. These guys are my two emotional anchors. Them two and Wanda and Vision, I can't see two ones I want to see more. Having Thor see Loki again might matter more than any battle in the movie. Infinity War gave us first meetings, but Avengers Doomsday could give us reunions that will steal the show. Let me know in the comments which reunion are you most excited to see, or which reunion you most want to see in Avengers Doomsday. This has been The Classroom with Mr. Guzman, and I will see you next period.
Reunited, double LP, world excited, struck a match to the underground, industry ignited.